And welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. With us now is Representative Weston Newton. He is a chairman of the Judiciary Committee with the South Carolina House of Representatives, District 120. It's great to have you on our newscast, sir. And let's begin with the Judiciary Committee. What is their role in the House of Representatives for the state?
You know, in each of the bodies, the House and Senate, there are various committees that are standing committees. The Judiciary Committee in the House takes up ultimately more legislation than any other committee in the process. So legislation is assigned to the committee. There are 25 members of the House that are there. Last year, we had about 475 bills that got assigned to the House. And it's the hearings are conducted on the bills, the research, the discussion, and ultimately vote that might send the legislation to the House floor.
Okay, and Representative Newton, could you share with our viewers a little bit about the judicial selection process? How does that work?
Yeah, in South Carolina, judges are elected by the General Assembly. We're one of only a handful of states in the country where the 170 legislators representing all of the people in South Carolina elect the judges. There is a rigorous screening process that they go through. Under current law, the JMSC, as it's known, includes only members of the General Assembly and some outside appointments made by the House and the Senate. There has been a lot of discussion over the years that the executive branch needed a role, or should properly, for the balance of power, have a role in the selection of judges. Mm-hmm. So last fall, the Speaker appointed an ad hoc committee in the House that the Speaker pro tem and I chaired. And we took testimony over a number of months about the way other states elect judges. Some states, they're like the federal model. They're appointed for life and confirmed by the Senate. South Carolina's never been partial to a king, and that's not a preferred method in South Carolina. We took testimony regarding other states' experience regarding popular election, and that turns into a pay for play. If judges have to go raise money to run for publicly elected office, that's not a good model for an independent and impartial judiciary. And then we looked at the quality of our judges in South Carolina and against other judges in the state and the disciplinary matters, and found that ours were much lower. What we did determine was that, whether real or perceived, there was this belief that our current model allowed cronyism because of certain members of the General Assembly serving on the selection committee that gave them perhaps an unfair advantage. Okay. So after months of testimony, months of hearings, the House put together a bill, the Senate put together a bill, and literally on the last day of session, we spent all day negotiating the conference committee and came up with legislation that the governor has now signed, modifying the composition of the Judicial Merit Selection Commission.
Okay. It was very historic and exciting that the third woman was elected to the South Carolina Supreme Court. You want to comment on that?
Absolutely. I mean, so separate from the JMSC activities that the Judiciary Committee was heavily involved with, another historic event for our state, not the Judiciary Committee, but relating to the South Carolina Judiciary, was the election of the Honorable Letitia Verdin from Greenville to our Supreme Court. And as you noted, she's one of only 3 females to ever be elected to the Supreme Court. There were 6 candidates in that race, all found qualified. 3 of them were nominated, and Letitia was ultimately elected, Judge Verdin, and I think she'll do a great job. She's served at every level of our court. She's been in private practice. She's been a solicitor, family court, trial court, court of appeals, and now is a great addition to our Supreme Court.
That's great news. And unfortunately, we're out of time. Representative Newton, it was great to have you on our program, and some great information you have shared with our viewers, and we hope to have you back. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robyn. Have a great day.
You too, sir. And after the break, Bob Stevens visited with Courtney Hampson of Bluffton Self-Help.